Gender binaries really, really irk me. I believe we are sitting in the middle of a really difficult time right now where we are all trying to fit the amazingly diverse population of humanity into two boxes, which is impossible. So we're then trying to then remedy the in-betweenies by altering them to fit one of the boxes. I think this is absurd. I think we, instead of altering people to fit the boxes, we should alter the system that requires two boxes and leave people be. Leave them to be what they are and who they are, and lift them up to be proud of who they are, and to change the system so that people are not penalized or marginalized or bullied for being who they are. We need to look at that. We need to look at the system in a holistic way and say, as a feminist, see, I believe that men get automatic status for being men because that's patriarchy. So as a woman, I always, I'm very aware of being second-class status. So the two boxes is purely about status, and it's purely about designating you're that type of person and you're that type of person, and this is how we treat you and this is how we can treat you. And it is political and it's all about control. So I want to scrap those two boxes, and I just want to have one box saying human. That's it. What gender does, we have all the full range of emotions. Now we do know we have a world right now that is full of mental health issues. There's no wonder, because if you're a man, you're allowed to have these emotions. If you're a woman, you're allowed to have these emotions, but you're not allowed to have the full range. Now, what happens if you're a man and you're not allowed to be sensitive and nurturing, and you're not allowed to cry, and you're not allowed to express your pain? That leads to depression. Is there little wonder why male suicide rates are so high? This is why it is, because you're not allowed through patriarchy to express yourselves. I once met a person in a course that I was doing, and I realized I didn't know what sex this person was, what biological sex. And because I was doing this particular course, which required a lot of self-awareness, I found myself in this really incredible headspace where I was very aware of my brain scrabbling to try and work this out. And I became very aware of the importance of my brain to try and work this out. And that left me feeling really uncomfortable, because I thought, why is it so important? Here's a human being. Why is my brain scrabbling? And I think it's to do with countless years of conditioning, and also we know who to mate with according to our sexuality. We're trying to then work out whether this is a potential mate. I think that's something really deep down and primal, but we're more than that. So I think, when people do this sort of biological essentialism kind of debate and argument, I say, but you know what, we're more than just animals. We're trying to evolve more than that, right? And we're trying to better ourselves. So why keep pulling us back to the primal when we have this massive brain? How do we reach a point where we're all considered human? Because I really believe that women, and increasingly now men, are not considered human. We're considered object. And I think what's happening with the whole equality politics is that instead of women being elevated to human level, instead of object, what's happening because of the patriarchy and because of capitalism and consumerism, men are now being pushed down to the level of objects. We see it all the time with the rise of, you must have a six-pack and the male body beautiful fascist thing that's going on right now. And that's all to do with, the beauty and the fashion industry need to sell us insecurity in order so they can sell us the fix. So we're going to have to fight the industries. We're going to have to do it ourselves. It's all in our power. That's the thing. It's all in our power to reject it. But we've got to make that first step of recognizing this is what it is. I really believe the power of storytelling, of human beings telling truths. I mean, I think one of my biggest fights in my world as an artist is to try and get people to remove their masks, and to try and get back to authenticity, and to try and get people to say, okay, this is me, I'm not ashamed of me, and it's fine just to be me. Because I think so much of our society are wearing masks. It's all about front, and none of it's real. I mean, if you look at, you know, sort of the whole reality television, it's not real. It's just an illusion. It's a construction of what reality is. Celebrity culture, again, it's all about mask wearing. I mean, even in makeup now, they're doing that heavy shading thing, which is, yeah, great. I mean, it's an amazing art in itself, but it's another mask. It's not real. It's, you know, what is wrong with the way your face is? The fear of aging for women as well, that thing. What's that about? That's about not being fuckable anymore and not having the status anymore. Yeah, so I think the power of storytelling would be how to get through that gender thing by people just saying, look, I'm like this, I don't give a fuck. And it wakes people up. People telling each other these stories and sort of testifying, or people just taking it upon themselves not to buy into it. I remember when I did the Style Like You video, and I was just talking about these kind of things. Some of the comments were, this woman's woken me up to who I am. That, and as I said, it's storytelling. It's kind of like just telling your truth.